All right, thanks, guys. We are coming off a perfect 6-0 week 0 and week 1 in our college football premium selections on patreon.com/rock page. We're also 61% in our last 62 underdog plays on that site. So if you like catching a little plus money, we're doing outstanding in that category there. But once again, perfect through week 0 and week 1, 6-0 in our premium college football selections right there in that college football package. If you want more information, check me out on patreon.com/rock page. Link is in the description section below. All right, let's go ahead and dive into some college football week 2. And I'm actually going to start off with Army at Michigan, 12 o'clock Eastern kickoff at the Big House. Michigan's minus 22.5, totals 47. We actually saw a 1-point fade of Michigan and a 2-point move downward on the total. The Wolverines open 23.5, down to minus 22.5. Total open 49, down to 47. 51% are leaning Wolverines, 69% shaded toward the over. Right now, Army is plus 1350 on the money line. Now, Michigan is 1-0 on the year. They put up 40 points on Middle Tennessee State. I don't see them having any problem with Army here, especially considering Army struggled with Rice last week. 14-7 victory there, but definitely too close of a call for taking on a Rice team who was just god-awful last year. So I like Michigan in this matchup here. Give me the Wolverines minus 22.5 and the over 47 in that game. Next matchup, Cincinnati Bearcats taking on the Buckeyes, 12 o'clock Eastern kickoff at Ohio Stadium. The Buckeyes are minus 16.5, totals 56. We actually saw a half a point fade of Ohio State in the early wagering. We did see a 2-point move upward on the total as well. The Buckeyes open 17, down to 16.5. Total open 54, up to 56. 62% are leaning Buckeyes, 78% shaded toward the over. Right now, the Bearcats are plus 600 on the money line. The Buckeyes are 1-0 on the year. They beat FAU 45-21. They're actually 10-0 straight up in their last 10 at home. Meanwhile, the Bearcats on the other side, they're 0-5 straight up in their last 5 head-to-head matchups with Ohio State, if you're into historical trends. They've also lost 11 out of their last 14 contests, taking on a Big Ten opponent. So I think Ohio State should have no problems here no problems here at home. Give me the Buckeyes minus 16.5 and the over 56 in that game. Next matchup, Rutgers at Kinnick Stadium taking on Iowa. 12 o'clock Eastern kickoff there. We have the Hawkeyes, the number 20 ranked Hawkeyes. They are minus 20 when it comes to the spread. Totals at 50. We did see a 1.5 point fade of Iowa and movement downward on the total. The Hawkeyes open 21.5 down to minus 20. Total open 51 down to 50. 51% are leaning Rutgers. 54% shaded toward the over. My alarm's going off for some reason. Right in the middle of the... Don't know why that's happening. And we hit it, we put it on snooze, so it's going to happen again. Anyway. Where were we at? Rutgers, plus 800 on the money line. Hawkeyes are 0-1 against the spread thus far in the year. They failed to cover against Miami of Ohio. They were the 25-point favorite in that matchup there. Now, Rutgers, they're 6-0 against the spread in their last 6, dating back to last season. And they covered a 17-point spread last week, taking on UMass. They were laying 17, and they did get the job done. Now, total-wise, Rutgers is 5-2 to the under in their last 7, of course, dating back to last season. So with all that said and done, I'm going to lean Scarlet Knights plus 20 and the under 50 in that game. Next matchup, number 22, Syracuse taking on the Terrapins, 12 o'clock Eastern kickoff in Maryland. That's the Maryland Terrapins. Now, we had a good old-fashioned flip of the lines in this one. Maryland's minus 2.5 with a total of 57. but they did not open up as the favorite. And as a matter of fact, they were +3. They were getting 3 points. Now they're -2.5. Total open 59.5 down to 57. Now 57% of the consensus are leaning toward the Terrapins, 77% shaded toward the over. Right now Syracuse is +120 on the money line. Now Syracuse is 7-1 straight up in their last 8 ball games dating back to last season. They're 1-0 against the number on the year. They defeated Liberty 24-0 last week. They covered a 19.5 point spread. They were laying 19.5, of course, in that matchup. Syracuse is 10-3 against the spread in their last 13 when traveling. They are also 6-1 ATS in their last 7 ball games in September. Now, total-wise, Syracuse is 4-2 to the under in their last 6. I'm going to lean Syracuse Orange +2.5 on the road and the under 57 in that game. Before we go ahead and move on, just want to take another quick timeout and once again welcome you to the show. Got some lines of personal leans out for college football week 2 of 2019. But before we go ahead and dive into some more of that, I just want to quickly remind you once again to check me out on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage. We do daily plays on that site, and we have a bunch of different memberships that you can subscribe to. They begin at just $1.99 per month. And once again, we are a perfect 6-0 in college football thus far in the year in our college football package, which is just $14.99, not a day, not a week. That's $14.99 a month. And right now we have a perfect 6-0 record in that category. That's 6 winners for you. We're also 61% in our last 62 underdog plays. So if you like catching plus money, that's a great package for you as well. And that begins at just $4.99 per month. So anyway, check me out on that site. Link is in the description section below. Plenty of free content there as well, including my current record in all of my categories. All right, let's go ahead and slide into our next contest. And we are going to take a look at Northern Illinois taking on Utah. 1 o'clock Eastern kickoff at Utah. Utah is ranked number 14 in the country right now. They're also -22 against the spread in this one, total at 43.5. We did see a 2.5 point move toward the Utes. We also saw movement downward on the total. Utah open 19.5 up to -22. Total open 44 down to 43 and a hook. 60% of the consensus are leaning toward Utah, 78% shaded toward the over. Right now, NIU is +1150 on the money line. Utah is 1-0 on the year, 1-0 against the spread as well. They beat BYU 30-12 last week. They were just -6.5, so they covered that number handily. They're also 8-3 in their last 11, dating back to last year. They're 12-2 in their last 14 ball games played in September. So if you're into historical trends, historically Utah's been very good in the month of September. Now total-wise, the Utes are 4-3 to the over in their last 7. NIU's 3-1 to the over in their last 4. I'm going to lean Utes -22 in the over 43.5 in that game. Next matchup, the Chippewas of Central Michigan take on the Badgers of Wisconsin. 3:30 Eastern kickoff, Camp Randall Stadium. Wisconsin's ranked 19th in the country right now. They're also laying 35 points in this one, total of 51.5. Now, we did see a 2-point move toward Wisconsin and movement upward on the total. The Badgers open -33 up to 35. Total open 50 up to 51 and a hook. 64% are leaning Badgers. And at the moment, not a lot of books are offering this, but Central Michigan is +9,000 on the money line. Now, Central Michigan is 1-0 straight up on the year, 1-0 against the number. They were victorious over Albany, 38-21. They covered a 14-point spread in that matchup there. Central Michigan's also 4-1 against the number in their last 5 ball games played in September. And when it comes to the number, Wisconsin is 6-1 to the under in their last 7, 1-0 to the under on the year. I think Central Michigan will keep it close, at least within 35 points. Give me Central Michigan +35 and the under 51.5 in that game. Next matchup. Number 24, Nebraska, taking on Colorado. 3:30 Eastern kickoff at Colorado. The Cornhuskers are -3.5, total 64 and a hook. A lot of movement in this one, guys. We saw a 3-point fade of Nebraska and a 5-point move upward on the total. The Huskers open 6.5 all the way down to -3.5. Total open 59.5 all the way up to 64 and a hook. 51% are leaning Buffaloes, 69% shaded toward the over, to the over. Right now, Colorado's plus 155 on the money line. Now, Colorado's 1-0 straight up on the year, 1-0 against the number. They were victorious over Colorado State, 52-31. They covered a 12.5-point spread in that matchup there. They're also 12-3 straight up in their last 15 games in September. Now, Nebraska on the other side, failing to cover in 4 out of their last 5 head-to-head matchups with the Buffaloes. They're also 0-7 in their last 7 ball games on the road, dating back to last year. Now, total-wise, Nebraska's 70% to the over in their last 10, 5-1 to the over in their last 6 in Colorado. So with all that said and done, I'm going to lean Colorado Buffaloes plus 3.5 and the over 64 and a hook. Next game, number 12 Texas A&M at number 1 Clemson, 3:30 Eastern kickoff. Clemson's minus 17.5, total 64 and a hook. We did see a 2.5-point move toward the Tigers and a 4.5-point move upward on the total. Clemson opened 15 up to 17.5. Total opened 60 up to 64 and a hook. 63% are leaning Texas A&M. 75% shaded toward the over. Right now, the Aggies are plus 625 on the money line. Texas A&M is 5-0 straight up in their last 5 ball games, dating back to last season. Winners in 8 out of their last 10 as well. They've also successfully covered the number in 5 out of their last 6 Week 2 games over the past 6 seasons. Now, Clemson on the other side, failing to cover in 4 out of their last 5 games played in September. They also are just 1-2 against the number in their last 3 head-to-head matchups with Texas A&M. Now, total-wise, Clemson's 4-3 to the under in their last 7. The Aggies are 60% to the under in their last 10. I'm going to lean Texas A&M plus 17.5 and the under 64 and a hook. Next game, Murray State at number 3 Georgia. 4 o'clock Eastern kickoff at Georgia. The Bulldogs are minus 49.5, total 61 and a hook. We did see a 0.5-point move toward the Bulldogs and movement upward on the total. UGA open minus 49 up to 49.5, total open 61 up to 61 and a hook. I'm going to lean Bulldogs minus 49.5 and the over 61.5 in that game. I'm going to predict a final of 222-0. All right, next game, New Mexico State taking on Alabama, 4 o'clock Eastern kickoff at Bryant-Denny Stadium. Now, a lot of books have this off the board. I did find this number somewhere. I got Alabama minus 55 in this one, total at 64.5. We did see hey, there's the alarm. I saw a 0.5-point fade of Alabama. And like I said, a lot of books don't even offer this game. But anyway, Bama open 55.5 down to 55. Total open 63.5 up to 64 and a hook. 51% are on Bama, 60% shaded toward the over. I just don't know if Saban's going to keep his studs in long enough to rack up 56. They might get to 56 in the first half, but I got to imagine they'll dial it down, man. There's no sense in keeping your starters in there too long against New Mexico State. They got plenty of depth and experience. So I'm going to lean New Mexico State plus 55 and the under 64.5 in that game. All right, next matchup. It is going to be Northern Colorado taking on number 23 Washington State. The Cougars are minus 37, totals at 63. We did see a 1.5-point fade of Washington State in the early wagering. We also saw movement downward on the total. The Cougars opened 38.5 down to 37. Total opened 63.5 down to 63. Really not going to break this one down too much. I didn't even know Northern Colorado had a football team. So give me Washington State minus 37 and the under 63 in that game. All right, next matchup, South Dakota taking on number 4 Oklahoma. There's another school. I knew they had a football team, but I didn't know they could. I thought they were like D3. But anyway, South Dakota travels to Oklahoma to take on the number 4 Sooners. Oklahoma's minus 37.5. Totals 78 and a hook. Now, we did see a little bit of movement in the early wagering here. We saw a 1-point move toward Oklahoma. We also saw a 2-point move toward the under in this one. The Sooners open 36.5, up to 37.5. Total open 80 and a hook, down to 78 and a hook. 73% are leaning Sooners, 67% shaded toward the under. I can't imagine South Dakota's going to keep this one close. Maybe Oklahoma turns the ball over a little bit, but I can't imagine this one being too pretty. I'm going to lean Sooners minus 37.5 and the under 78.5 in that game.